When it comes to the greatest fighters in MMA history, two names always rise to the top. Jon Jones and Khabib, the Eagle, Nurmagomedov. Both fighters have dominated their divisions, dismantling opponents with skill, strategy, and an aura of invincibility. But while their paths never crossed inside the octagon, the debate over who reigns supreme continues to fuel discussions among fans and analysts alike. What makes this debate so compelling is that Jones and Khabib represent two vastly different fighting styles, career trajectories, and legacies. Jones, the youngest champion in UFC history, has ruled the light heavyweight division for over a decade before moving to heavyweight, while Khabib retired undefeated as the most dominant grappler the sport has ever seen. So, who truly deserves the title of MMA's greatest of all time? Let's break it down. Jon Jones, the longest reigning king. From the moment Jon Jones stepped into the UFC, it was clear that he was a generational talent. At just 23 years old, he became the youngest champion in the promotion's history, dismantling Mauricio Shogun Rua with a mix of creative striking and overwhelming dominance. But that was just the beginning. Jones's list of victories reads like a Hall of Fame roster. Lyoto Machida, Rashad Evans, Daniel Cormier, Alexander Gustafsson, and many more. His ability to neutralize any opponent, whether a knockout artist, wrestler, or submission specialist, made him an unsolvable puzzle inside the cage. What sets Jones apart is his adaptability. He's out-wrestled elite grapplers, outstruck top-tier kickboxers, and used his absurd reach advantage to dictate the pace of nearly every fight. His fight IQ, creativity, and ability to fight from any position make him arguably the most complete MMA fighter of all time. Even after a lengthy layoff, Jones returned in 2023 to claim the UFC heavyweight title, submitting Cyril Gane in dominant fashion. This victory cemented his legacy as a two-division champion, something that further separates him from other legends. However, his career has not been without controversy. Multiple failed drug tests, legal troubles, and periods of inactivity have clouded his reputation. For some, these issues disqualify him from the GOAT conversation. But for others, his dominance inside the cage speaks for itself. Khabib Nurmagomedov, the untouchable champion. If Jones's greatness is built on longevity and versatility, Khabib's is built on absolute dominance. The Dagestani warrior retired with a perfect 29-0 record, something unheard of in modern MMA. What makes that number even more impressive is that he rarely lost a round, let alone an entire fight. Khabib's style was no secret. He would pressure his opponents, take them down, and make them drown under relentless ground control. Everyone knew what was coming, yet no one could stop it. From his early UFC fights to his championship run, Khabib's suffocating grappling turned elite fighters into helpless victims. His most defining moments came during his title reign. He dismantled Conor McGregor in one of the most high-profile fights in UFC history, submitted Dustin Poirier in Abu Dhabi, and dominated Justin Gaethje in his final fight before retiring. Each victory was decisive, leaving no room for doubt. Unlike Jones, Khabib's career was short but flawless. He walked away on top, never having been knocked down or truly tested inside the cage. His decision to retire at 32 after the passing of his father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, added to his mystique. He left the sport with an untarnished record and his legacy intact. However, Khabib's critics argue that his dominance came in a shorter time frame and against a smaller list of elite opponents compared to Jones. He never moved up in weight, never had to reclaim a lost title, and never faced the same level of adversity that Jones did throughout his career. Skill set comparison, striking, grappling, and fight IQ. If we were to compare their individual skill sets, it becomes clear that both men excel in different areas. Striking. Jones has a more diverse striking arsenal, using elbows, kicks, and unorthodox techniques to break down opponents. Khabib's striking improved over time, but he was never known for his stand-up game. Grappling. Khabib is arguably the greatest grappler in MMA history, with a relentless top game that few could escape. Jones, while an excellent wrestler, does not have the same level of suffocating ground control. Fight IQ. Both fighters possess some of the highest fight IQs in MMA, with Jones using versatility and adaptability, while Khabib imposed an unstoppable game plan every time. Legacy. What defines the GOAT? At the end of the day, choosing between Jon Jones and Khabib Nurmagomedov comes down to what you value most in a fighter's legacy. Longevity versus perfection. Jones has been dominant for over a decade, facing multiple generations of top contenders. Khabib, on the other hand, retired undefeated without ever showing signs of weakness. Strength of competition. Jones's resume includes a long list of former champions and legends. Khabib's title defenses were dominant, but came against a smaller pool of elite fighters. Weight class challenges. Jones moved up to heavyweight and became a two-division champion. Khabib remained at lightweight his entire career, leaving questions about how he would have fared in another division. Controversy. Jones's legacy is complicated by his outside-the-cage issues, while Khabib maintained a clean image and left on his own terms. Conclusion. Who wins the GOAT debate? Ultimately, there is no definitive answer. Jon Jones is the most accomplished fighter in UFC history, with an unrivaled resume and longevity. Khabib Nurmagomedov, on the other hand, has the rare distinction of retiring with an undefeated record and an aura of complete dominance. If you value longevity, versatility, and championship wins across multiple eras, Jon Jones is your GOAT. If you prioritize pure dominance, an undefeated record, and never losing a round, Khabib Nurmagomedov is the ultimate MMA great. No matter where you stand in the debate, one thing is certain. Both men have left a legacy that will be discussed for generations. Who do you think is the GOAT, Jon Jones or Khabib Nurmagomedov? Let us know in the comments.